Merry Xmas. It's a special Sunday night Marvel TV Weekly, and we're going to talk about the usual stuff. Yeah, we're going to talk Runaways. Sorry, Michael. We're going to talk about The Gifted, and we're going to talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Sorry, me. But we're also going to talk about the greatest 22 minutes of animated Christmas cheer, an episode of the X-Men animated series. Have Morlock... No, what was it? Have yourself a Morlock Little Xmas. See, this is why I needed to write things down. Have yourself a Morlock Little Xmas. So if you have the time before you watch this to watch that episode of the X-Men animated series, you'll enjoy this a lot more. But you'll still enjoy it because Marvel TV Weekly starts now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's right. Because it's Christmas time in Hollis, Queens. Mom's in the kitchen cooking up collard greens. But we here at Marvel TV Weekly are here a whole night early to spread Christmas cheer. It is indeed our last episode of 2017. We'll be back in January. And by the time we come back, we'll have, I think, the final episode of Runaways. So we can give some predictions a little bit later. But to start off, I'm Christian Blatt. You can find me at ChristianDMZ. And to my left, those watching on YouTube, you're right. Who is this?
Hey, how's it going? My name is Carrie Lane. You can find me online at Carrie D Lane. That's Karidlane.
Or as characterized in the comments on a past episode, more Polaris than Polaris.
Right, but I just redid it, so it's more blue than green. But still,
I was
going
to say Mystique, but actually her hair is red and her skin is blue. So we'll have to figure out who you're more like. But I was going to compare you to someone, but there's no one to compare Michael X. Shirley to. Michael Shirley, where can people find you? I think I gave it away.
Yeah, Michael X. Shirley, that's it.
Spoiler, Michael X.
Instagram
Shirley.
and Twitter.
Anyway, Morlock. No, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Before we started tonight, we were talking to our friend Stephen Lemieux, who does a lot of things here at AfterBuzz, including the Gifted After Show.
Yes.
And he has a slightly different opinion of that show than Michael does, than I do. But he did point out something that I didn't notice in the most recent episode, that there was really bad ADR, which for people that don't know, that's additional dialogue recording, also known as dubbing. I mean, it's looped in, and it was just, a lot of times you'll notice bad dubbing, bad looping, bad ADR, when it's just like, oh no, we need to explain something that got cut out of the movie. Yep. And it's one of those things where if I'm talking, all of a sudden they cut to Carrie and my voice changes, and then they come back to me and my voice sounds like it did before you saw her. So you get some of that stuff, but oh my gosh, we're going to see that Tony in the booth, at Tony Be Dead, is finding some great pictures from that episode of X-Men the Animated Series. Anyway, I think that is probably the least of the concerns about the Gifted that Michael has.
Wait, you should say when that ADR moment is.
Oh, yeah. So they were driving in the car. They're driving in the car.
The van?
And I guess it was a van. And
the van at the end.
And then all of a sudden you hear, I guess it was Reed's voice.
Yeah, he's kind of like, no, don't go back.
Like, no, don't go back there. Oh, it's totally... No, it wasn't quite that. But it was like basically Bill or Ted from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And I had like a stray thought of that, but I don't know. Maybe I'm not as into the show. That tells you that it didn't stick with me. And Steven had to say, did you catch the bad ADR? And I was like, I don't know. Should I have? Did you catch that, Carrie?
I don't think I noticed so much that it was bad ADR, but I did feel the dialogue felt weird in that moment. Like, wait, what? Like the direction for like how to say his lines, you go, I'm not so sure.
Just not feeling it. Michael, that probably happened while you were in the bathroom not watching the show.
I was like on my phone, like in and out of the bathroom.
I think on Instagram you posted a picture of yourself and it was just like, here's me not watching The Gifted.
So wait, for you guys out there who everyone's like, oh my gosh, everybody's talking negatively. One, I like The Gifted.
Yes.
And two, go watch The Gifted After Show because they really like it if you want more positive dialogue on that.
Yes, which I was going to mention that Steven is actually on The Gifted After Show, and I think they did it just a couple hours ago here. So it's Sunday nights here at AfterBuzz, and my friend Steph Sabra's on it. I do the South Park show with her. But it was brought up in a chat on the recent episode, a past episode of this show, of Marvel TV Weekly, that they are a little annoyed, the person who wrote it, that Michael and I always, basically they generalize, the person who wrote the comment, that you guys always talk about how great Inhumans was, but you hate on The Gifted. Inhumans was terrible.
I don't think I've spoken about Inhumans since it's been over.
Well, I don't miss it. I mean, that's true. I can't say that. I can't say that.
I don't miss it.
Yeah. I missed Lockjaw, but I don't miss Crystal crying about Dave, her surfer boyfriend, who probably did the ADR for The Gifted, by the way.
I forget what list it was, but on the list of some of the worst shows this year, Inhumans was listed. No offense to fans of.
Hey, I mean, it's.
But they said Lockjaw is pretty much the main thing that they were like. But that was great.
All right, look, see, even
Which
people.
I knew you were
Yeah, I mean,
excited about.
look, at least people have that much sense,
Right?
to know how great it was.
I just want Marvel to buy Disney. I mean,
Disney
Marvel to buy
Disney
Fox,
to buy Fox,
so
yeah.
Yeah.
we can just
Yeah,
have
because
something
basically
good
that's the
again.
only way we can get. I think Chris Evans posted about a potential
Oh, yeah,
Human
that's
Torch
funny.
Captain America buddy movie where he would play both parts. And I don't
I'd
care
watch
what
that.
anybody
I don't
says.
know about
I
that.
would love that.
I would totally watch that.
Maybe
Yeah.
on like what is that website where they're like good or bad videos?
Rotten Tomatoes?
Funny
Oh
or
no,
Die.
Funny or
Oh,
Die.
Funny or Die.
Yeah, maybe that, but
Like
not
a funnier. Well,
You're like, not a whole movie?
Not a feature-length film.
more than
All right.
likely, that's probably what's going to happen.
Well,
All
I
right,
will
let me actually
Oh,
read
yeah,
the
back to
comments.
that,
I
yeah.
was vamping while I could try and find it. Channel Surfer 00. Yeah. Can't take these guys seriously. They've been riding the Inhumans train for the past couple months, raving how awesome/amazing that show is, all the while shitting on The Gifted. I spat my drink out the first time they did it. I was thinking about spitting out my water to illustrate that, and then I was like, no, it's really tight
thank
in
you.
here. Yeah. And then right away, okay, it took a week, Carrie types in, nah, I like Gifted. I was annoyed with a lot of Inhumans, but still liked it too. And that wasn't enough. So she goes back in, and I'm up at all hours of the night helping feed my newborn daughter. So I saw this. It was like 2 a.m. And then Carrie says, I was also surprised by how much my co-hosts loved Inhumans and disliked Gifted. LOL. I love my co-hosts, thank you, but don't really agree with the show preferences. And my response to you was, you too, Carrie? And as I said, I won't speak for Michael.
But was I speaking any
No,
incorrect
but
statements? No.
At 2
it was
a.m,
totally-
it felt like you were throwing us under the bus. Look,
No, I'm just stating the obvious, which you guys have already said about it, which is fine. Everybody can like or dislike a show.
and you wanted to make sure that you didn't get lumped together with the haters.
I did a little
You
bit.
don't
like,
want to be.
Wait, no, I like.
You don't want to be in this haterade sandwich right here, right in the middle.
I'm right in the middle, but I will say last week's Gifted episode did annoy me. I would think you all have watched it by now, so this isn't too spoilery.
Yeah, usually we're doing it, and the West Coast hasn't even seen it yet.
Their like escape, quote unquote, I thought was super pathetic, so annoying, because it's like we're standing this close together. I'm like, Michael, go on. I can't get through the door with you. You're too far away. And I was like, what? And it happens twice. It wasn't just once, but it was a Dreamer and Blink.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I did remember
it just
that
made
bit,
me so
yeah.
annoyed, and I just was sitting there across my arms like,
And
fine.
the worst part is
Fine.
that they're able to figure everything out. And look, Steven said, oh, they're underneath like a substation.
Yeah, fine.
Whatever. Lauren was ready to totally
Yes.
Fenris everybody's ass.
And he's like, "Wait, don't
fucking
do it."
Andy. Andy's like, no, we can't.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, look where that got you, Andy.
Yeah.
Now you're in chains.
So as we said before, he cock-blocked it.
He totally cockblocked his sister.
Maybe
which-
she's gonna end up being the villain of the two.
Well,
Ooh,
and
but
that's
they need
been,
to work together to
that's
make
the-
it happen.
That's what I've been wanting from the start of the series.
cut
You
off
guys-
his
You were
hand.
thinking that maybe it was Andy, and now, yeah, it might be able to
I
be Lauren.
feel like he has to be alive. I feel like it's
I
not
think she
just
could
his
cut
hand.
his hand off.
Oh, no, it's his.
I think he needs to be
alive.
alive. But you know what? If it would make you happy, sure. Let's just
Yeah.
cut his hand off and see what happens.
No.
I am much more excited about the show now that they've introduced at least this Fenris idea, because they are characters I
Yes.
liked, circa Uncanny X-Men number 200 in 1985.
Mm-hmm.
Such
And
a big player in the game, Fenris.
I thought, well, I think you might be thinking of Tetris, but no, I like those characters, and I felt like, at some point I've gone back and reread some older comics. I'm like, yeah, whatever happened to them? They didn't really use them that much beyond like a couple of storylines in that time period. And I think that they were part of like a group funded by the government that was called Freedom Force. It was like villains that were working for the government, which has been done like 5 times since then. What I think like Thunderbolts and I don't know, Suicide Squad. Actually, I think that was done first. But anyway, and then I haven't seen them in a long time, and I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool idea. And I thought, as I said, when the pilot aired, I'm like, oh, Strucker, they couldn't possibly be Von Struckers then. They're not that clever. Shame on me. So I think it's more interesting, but at the heart of the problem is still that Andy's still kind of a puss. Because I have been hoping since the show started, which I was going to say, is that there's moments where you feel like, I think he's going to be evil. And if the two of them break away from this mutant underground and the mutant underground becomes focused on trying to take them down while they're terrorizing the
That
world,
could be really
that's
cool.
a good show. I want that show every week. I'll watch it even if it's on at the same time as Inhumans. Okay, I'll DVR it and watch it right after Inhumans, but let me just clarify my point on that, and I'll let you guys speak, because I realize I'm talking too much. But all I wanted to say about that before was Inhumans gave me more than I expected from it, because I didn't expect much. I like those characters. I thought it delivered. The Gifted is part of the X-Men universe. I expect way more than they've been delivering to me.
So it sounds like it's your own fault.
It's my own fault. My expectations are too high because the X-Men are great. And to people who say, like, oh, they hate everything that's on Fox. No, I think FX has Legion, which is better than all of these other
Oh,
shows.
Legion was amazing.
Yeah, I like that better.
But also a very different kind of show.
Yeah, very different kind of show.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Carrie's kind of clarified her thoughts. Michael, you just don't like it, right? It's okay. I'm trying to like now have you be the only one that people
Get some
write hate
devil's
comments
advocate
about.
going on.
Yeah.
I think I've said plenty over the last few months to like. I don't really have anything.
But you're going to continue to watch it. If let's be.
There's one more episode,
Yeah,
so yeah.
Well, no, but I think it comes back in the winter for a couple more. I think that they have, because this was only. I don't think this is episode 10 that's airing tomorrow night.
Oh, good.
And Anthony, if we could put up the chat, maybe somebody in the chat can tell me that I just don't know what I'm talking about, and then this is. But I think it's the fall finale, which it's interesting that the same week that some shows have a fall finale, other shows have a winter finale. But Michael, be 100% honest. Don't lie to our audience. If you weren't doing this show, would you keep watching The Gifted? Or would it like pile up on the DVR and then you'd see that you have like 15
I
of
would
them?
wait till it was like on Netflix.
Yeah.
I didn't like have
And then just
anything
powered through
better
it.
to do.
You'd be through you'd be like through Jessica Jones season 2.
Like I told, like there's certain things I like to put on like before I go
Yeah.
to bed.
According to IMDb, it says there's 13 episodes, and the last episode will air January 15th.
Yeah, so we'll be back and we'll be able to do a couple more.
Yeah.
So Michael, you'll be able to celebrate. Maybe you'll buy everybody drinks, or maybe we'll play the X-Men pinball game or video game at your house to celebrate. Well, the chat's there, but boy, is it small, Anthony. Oh
Well,
my gosh.
They don't know we're here.
Yeah. No, they do. CSB Lou is here, of course. And yeah, everybody's saying that. Yeah, it's the fall finale. And Nicholas Stormy. See, look, it's all the usual are here. They found us on Sunday night, and we didn't even announce last week that we were going to be on Sunday.
I
So
did
thanks, everybody.
today.
Yeah,
Because everyone just follows everything I do.
I know, obviously. I do. That's why I came in today. You posted that, and I'm like, oh, I guess we're doing the show on Sunday.
A couple people in the chat are like, Legion is a masterpiece.
Yeah, it's
so
great.
good. Don't even compare the things. Only comparing in terms of
Cinema quality,
No, just in a
storytelling,
mutant
acting.
show.
I mean,
Sorry,
it's
never mind.
also the X-Men universe.
It's one of those, if you like that
honestly,
theme, it's just made different.
as of right now,
Yeah.
it can be the same universe, same reality as the Gifted. There's no reason to not have them be together. That's a crossover that would never happen, I'm sure. But I'm just saying that, like, it's the same universe to me.
Oh, there was a YouTube notification. Well, thank you for those
Oh,
of you noticing
thanks,
your
Nicholas
notifications and
Stormy.
joining us.
Yeah, well, we're glad that everybody's there, and I hope
Yes.
everybody has watched the episode of the X-Men the Animated Series.
Speaking
We're
of
gonna talk about later.
Legion, was it just me, or was he in the sewer with the Morlocks? The guy with the really tall hair?
Yes.
Wasn't that Legion?
But
or
that's
was that...
that's a different character. That's a different
Okay.
Morlock who has the same haircut.
Okay,
I know.
never
I
mind.
had that same thought when I watched that. Is that one guy looked like looked like Legion? Yeah. And ZSB Lou, I think, is mentioning in the chat that Twilight actress Leah Gibson possibly playing Typhoid Mary on Jessica Jones season 2, which is somebody who we really wanted to see in Daredevil. If Typhoid Mary's in Jessica Jones season 2, that might be one of the best seasons of
Who's
the
that
Marvel.
actress?
Apparently from Twilight, so that's why I've never heard of her.
Which one is she?
But yeah, I saw today. I don't know if it was announced
Can we get
earlier
a
in the
picture
weekend.
of her,
Yeah, they're
maybe?
looking-
But
Cool.
Jessica Jones season 2, March 8th. So gives you a little time. We can settle into the new year.
They're saying that she's going to be in the second season, or
yeah,
the
but
third season?
they're theorizing that the rumor is, I guess,
which
that Leah
one
Gibson,
was
who I think
she?
Anthony will show in a moment, is going to play Typhoid Mary.
I can see it. Typhoid
Well, because she's not
Mary-
going to look like that at all. She's going
Typhoid
to.
Mary needs a wide face.
Yeah, and
so
she's-
she can do all that halves and halves.
Yeah.
Halfsies.
Anyway, have we gone through The Gifted enough? I want to
I
make
think
sure.
so.
I wanted to clarify that I'm not a hater. I tune in every week because I want to like it. I'm starting to like it a little bit more, but then Andy pissed me off. But, that's fine. I
You're
think.
just a sucker for that Beyonce fan that they had going on, where their hair was all like.
That's right. When they first, I forgot about that.
Oh,
when
it was
when they first did
cool.
That
the
like
feminist,
got you.
it was
That
You didn't like it?
it felt like it was more like a Whitesnake video, more
You
for my
loved
generation.
it.
Oh no,
You
I
know,
did.
you loved it.
Look, I didn't say I didn't
I feel
love
like
it.
that
Okay.
earned a lot of bonus points for you.
Look, they doubled the budget for that scene alone. I think because of the energy between, and I'm just talking physical energy now.
She's like,
Yeah.
yeah. And I don't know. I want to see what they can do with it. But
Yeah.
the idea that the Sentinel services, I always feel like
let's see
there's
a
nothing-
real Sentinel.
Yeah, just one Sentinel. That's the constant reminder of like, how can basically like an FBI?
I don't think it's even worth talking about.
How do they beat them every week? I don't know. And Alice Eve from Star Trek is going to be in Iron Fist season 2. These are all things that the chat is reminding me that I wanted to talk about, and we would have gotten to them. But see, here's the best thing: they're going to tell us now. We're not entirely sure who Alice Eve is going to play in Iron Fist season 2. Either Hand Assassin Lady Gorgon, aka Tanya Adrian, or the surgically enhanced Black Mamba. It could be either of those. But the Iron Fist Twitter account was the first one to let me know, because I follow Iron Fist because we're friends.
Iron Fist was also on the list of bad shows of the year.
See, you know what? I don't want to read this list. Where did you read this list? BuzzFeed?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'll
Okay.
find it for you. though.
Yeah, because apparently BuzzFeed News is a thing now, and I don't believe in it. Anyway, Michael would like to move on
Yes.
from The Gifted. But I do want to talk about Runaways.
Yes.
Because this episode, I've enjoyed the show from the beginning.
Yeah.
But I thought that this was
best one
the
that's
best
so
one yet.
far, yeah.
Because they've been building up, the story has been progressing forward the last couple weeks. And then in this episode, we start to see more powers.
Yes.
You know, all of a sudden, Chase is like, "Oh, you want to check out my fucking Nintendo Power Gloves? Boom!" And I'm like, "Great."
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I was pretty excited for that. So I think we saw a lot of cool things there. We got to see some powers. Finally, Molly's like, "Hold on, I got this."
No, guys, hold on. Let me show you.
Yeah, this is what I was trying to tell you. And I just, she's so cute when she's just like, "No, I'm sleepy."
Yeah.
But yeah, and the best thing is that like that episode starts, and our pal Ryan Sands, who was here in that
He's
seat,
He
where-
had
totally
more
is a-
in that episode,
Yeah,
too.
he
I'm
was
so
a
excited.
star.
I know, and he should have told us like, "Yeah, we'll tune in, tomorrow night because I'm in it a lot." And we got to
Yes.
see him with a beard and hair and the flashback to
Yes.
prison. I thought that was great, and we just get to see some really like deep moments with him and Alex, his son.
Dude, Alex shoots someone.
Yeah, for his dad, and he's like,
Yeah.
"I don't even know if I should have."
Yeah.
And yeah, I took a note because Alex says to Jeffrey, he says, "You weren't just my father; you were my best friend," and Jeffrey doesn't take it well, and Alex like flinches, and he's like, "Hey man, I never hurt you." And he's like, well, Darius was your best friend, and you hurt him. So I really have liked the dynamic between Alex and Jeffrey as the show has gone along, especially now because he's like, first he's just kind of unsure of his dad, then he's afraid of his dad. At some point, he's probably going to hate his dad. So I think that we're seeing that well. But Carrie, what did you think of episode 5 of Runaways?
Oh, it was awesome. Yeah, I love seeing all the powers. I love them coming together and like having that moment of powers revealed. Like, oh my goodness, everybody has all these different things. I was like, I don't remember his name, the actor name, but I'm like, it's Christian from Nip Tuck. His was a fun reveal.
Or Doctor Doom from the Fantastic
that
Four
too,
movies. Yeah. Can we talk?
You see a lot more of him in Nip Tuck.
Can we talk about that? Because
Yeah.
it's like, hey, dude,
Now-
that's your dad. Isn't that her dad?
No, that's her husband. I think he.
No, that's her husband.
I think she
That's
probably
her-
just told people that he like got old and she.
I wanna say
stays
that's her
young.
husband.
All right, I'm gonna stand by my assumption that it's some like weird cult thing, and that is her dad, and
Maybe
that's
it's
why.
both.
That's why. Yeah, that I think it's her dad and her husband, and it's like he has like a harem of women, and that's why he said, "I can't wait to meet
Why
her."
do you think there's a harem of women? There's only been one checking on him. He looked like
No,
crap.
but
yeah, but
here's the
there was
creepy
in the
moment
past.
though when he said he
Wait.
won. Yes.
I would like to say about what comment on what Christian just said about he wanted to see her. I'm guessing that's Crystal's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
But here's
He-
the creepy thing
he-
with
he-
him saying he wants to see her. The mom was not that happy because I think he's moving on. That could be the next thing
Yes,
he hooks up
that's
with.
exactly what I was gonna say. Is that it's like this weird incestuous
Because
cult
she
kind of
was
thing.
like not happy about it. She wasn't like, yes,
Yeah.
you should totally meet your
Well,
daughter.
She looked
She's like,
scared. She looked scared.
She
when
looks
he
No.
scared
said
for her daughter
Yeah.
that this guy's gonna move in on her because she's younger now and add her. Look, I mean, it's it's not.
we're all going really dark.
It's not a.
I also took
Yeah,
it
Carolina's
as
dad,
being
yeah.
like she's gonna have to tell her like all this church stuff is a lie. We're actually aliens. Like she's gonna have to just like explain all this stuff to her that she's never known in her life. It's gonna change
I don't
everything.
think that's it.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
so
gonna
nice
say.
and innocent.
I'm gonna say I'm 100% sure that what Carrie and I think is that he's just creepy, incestuous dad who
Maybe.
likes to get it on with daughters. And when we had the scene in episode 4 where she like gets under
where
the
she gets
covers
in
and it's the
bed with
glowing
him?
thing, and I'm just like, well, that's a weird allegory for what's glowing. But I think that was literally just the creepy tip of the creepy iceberg. That's it.
No, that's just a really immature little kid of like, good pun. So no, I do think it's the mom, and I think he's her husband, but I do think he's possibly interested in the daughter. I don't think it's the wife's father. But I was curious on you guys. I didn't really think about it, but when his character was introduced and then went away, did you immediately go, well, he's gonna come back and he's gonna be the one dude we haven't seen?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I
was like,
I thought we would see
oh
him.
my goodness, it's him.
So, Michael, you were figuring we'd see him again at some point.
I knew he was gonna be the big bad or
Yeah.
whatever, but it didn't click with me that he was the guy in the pod
we haven't
thing.
seen yet?
Yeah,
Yeah.
until because I thought he was really old.
Well,
Or maybe
I
they,
mean,
like,
I think he is
re-energized
really
him or
old,
something.
and
Oh, yeah.
that's what the sacrifice is.
But what do we think the parents? I mean, I guess that kind of goes in predictions. But what do we think the other parents get from it? Do they all get some sort of longevity or?
I think some of them get something out of it, and I think
They have
other
to.
parents are.
I think
it's
they
sort
all
of
got
more
money.
indebted, and they're wrapped up in something that
Okay.
they can't get out of.
Yeah.
I
like
think it was money because it seems like when that guy
Wealth
came
and
in,
power,
when
essentially?
he came
Yeah.
in, he's like, "I'll give you all this money for this piece of land." Like,
Yeah.
I think they probably all said yes to his thing, and
Okay.
he had to do something. They had to like work for him like for a
Yeah.
certain amount of years until.
yeah,
I don't know.
no,
I haven't followed along in the comics, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I feel like Gert and Molly's parents are not there because they're getting anything out of it. They're getting there because if they're not going to be able to carry on their livelihood,
Yeah.
or they're possibly threatened. And
Yeah.
look, it's very clear that the fire that killed Molly's birth parents, they were pride as well.
That was no accident.
And that was no accident. They want to get out of there. And
Yeah.
obviously, Nico's poor sister knew something that she shouldn't.
Dun, dun,
And
dun.
I want to sort of move on to that point,
Yeah.
because her mom is like, yeah, you and I are the only people on Earth who can use this.
Proved
So my
Tony
fir-
B. Dead's theory wrong. That what he used, like, you got to get your blood on it and it'll work.
Oh, that was your theory, Tony B. Dead, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's ancestral. So, there goes that.
But
maybe I still think the blood is important because she's always like, ow.
yeah, but
she gets pricked. Yeah, but it has to be her blood.
Yeah.
It's her and her mother's.
It knows.
Not her father's.
My question is that I bet her sister could use it too, but now she's dead for some reason because of something that she could do with it or did with it.
She touched it in a bad way.
That's true. But I feel like, I mean, I've all along, I think from the first episode, we're like, okay, so her sister knew something, and that's why she's
Sure.
dead now. Because, we're
Saw
getting
something she shouldn't.
little tidbits
Yeah.
of, Nico was reading her diary, and was like, yeah, she's happy.
So happy.
She was so happy, yeah.
Yeah.
And one more thought on Nico. Finally making the big move on Alex. I mean, enough. How long had I been waiting for this? You know, and
She was on top of him with her bra, you know.
Probably very inappropriate timing when they actually went for it because, you know, they're like looking for their parents, you know.
Times of stress.
It's like
That's
horror
true.
movies. They have the worst
Yeah,
times where they're like, time to hook up.
That is a good point. So I don't know. I was very happy for them, basically.
Yeah.
That
No, they're a really cute couple.
They found love in a time where, you know, maybe it wasn't the most convenient. What else did we like in the episode?
Well, did you guys catch that Chase's mom was wearing the robe this episode?
Had she not been wearing the robe?
What do you mean?
I thought they all wore the red robes.
Yeah, the red robes, yeah.
I thought everyone was in it except for her. And I thought we'd mentioned that
she's
because
there.
that was the one thing in the comic that was different, that she wasn't. I
No,
thought
she's
because like
there.
all the parents were.
Oh, she's getting super obvious with her cheating with the other dad, though. Nico's dad.
Maybe it's
Yeah,
just me.
there was a very
the
obvious
hand
moment.
touch.
Like,
was
like
so,
everybody
like,
saw
obvious.
it. Like, what are you doing? He's
He
not.
even looks at her. He's like,
He's not that hot. You can keep your hands
he's
off him.
really cute.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to defer. But I mean, I didn't think so. And let's see. In the chat, Nicholas Stormy says, I think Nico's sister figured out the staff and mom didn't want to share. ZSB Lou seconds that. And ZSB Lou says, I love Gert, Nico, Alex, and Molly the most. So basically, you don't like Carolina, Chase. And who does that leave out? Is that everybody? He likes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm missing someone, aren't I? There's 7
Alex?
of them. Oh, yeah,
said
he
Alex
says
tonight.
Alex.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm talking about the Chase's mom cheating with, I'm like, I remember all the kids' names.
And I remember
with
Jeffrey's name because he
Nico's
was
dad.
here on the
Yeah.
show. So if any of the parents come on the show, I'll remember
We'll
the character.
remember their
Tina
names.
is Nico's
Yes.
mom's name.
Well, because he points out he'd be the one he'd be scared to be around.
Yeah. So
But she is such a bitch. That I kind of,
Yeah.
and then also Chase's dad's really scary. That I kind of understand for both parents going, both our spouses suck, but then they had their weird thing of like, so you ready to leave your partner? And the other one was not on the same page.
Yeah, not on the same page.
Awkward.
My final question about this episode
Yes.
of Runaways before we move on to the fun of
Getting
talking
the
about the
staff
X-Men.
to work was so cool.
That was when they
Or
I
Shield.
Yeah.
We could talk about
No,
Shield.
I want to
Yeah.
talk about some. I said I want to talk about one more thing with Runaways. And Shield, come on. Shield has an after show as well, Sundays. Everything's Sundays here at AfterBuzz. Why does everyone in the Pride have to be there when they do something? It looks like one person is doing something and everybody's just watching.
It's witchcraft.
Accountability.
I guess, but they're all there.
Alien witchcraft.
And it has to be something more like... I like your theory better, Michael, alien witchcraft, but I feel like it's not that. I feel like it is accountability of some kind. Like, no, we're all in this together. Every time somebody gets killed, we're all equally implicit, so nobody turns on on one another.
Tradition.
Again, accountability in terms of like, what you've done. Everybody's seen
Yeah.
it, and you're all liable,
Yeah.
like you said.
Well, and we'll spend a couple minutes on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Because I want to let you talk about it. But I have to admit...
I want to hear what you think about it.
I know. I have to admit, as I did last week, I haven't seen it because last
Well, I
week...
want to know what Carrie thinks about it.
Well,
I haven't gotten Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. yet. No, but hey, it's only a little bit in there.
yeah, she's only
I'm-
3 behind. I'm
I'm
17
the
behind.
expert here.
I've
Yeah.
watched everything up to the new season, so I'm more ahead than he is.
Yeah. All right. Well, calm down, man. You're quick to sell me out whenever
Yeah,
it
she
turns
likes
that
to
way.
throw you under
Yeah,
there.
it's just like I'm just gonna stay under the bus so that the next time I'm like already here. You don't have to worry about it. So now I'm
right,
gonna
you
use
totally
I'm
beat
gonna
me on
use
Star
my
Trek.
excuse.
Yeah.
That my daughter was born
It's a
21
very
days
good
early.
excuse.
That was the week. Each day I was going to watch 6 or
Yeah.
7 episodes of S.H.I.E.L.D. I was going to power through and then watch the premiere that weekend and be ready to go. But it didn't happen because there was a lot of late nights and
very
crying
good
and diaper
excuse.
changing,
It's
and then
okay.
there was also my daughter. Thank you very much.
Call yourself a fan.
Well,
So, Michael,
I've
why
seen
don't
it
you
all.
tell us about S.H.I.E.L.D. then?
I do want to be caught up when we come back in January, which there was some
yeah,
murmuring
yeah.
in the chat. I believe we'll be back on January 8th. Monday, January 8th is when this show will be back, okay?
Well, Starju agrees with your thought process. Like,
That
He thinks having
where
a
is he? I
baby is
can't
more
find it.
important
that's
than
pretty
watching
much me that
TV.
throw people under bus. Nuh-uh.
No. We're just joking. It's
Yeah,
fun. By
it's
the
all
way, in a little bit more than an hour, Carrie and I will be doing Star Trek Weekly.
Which I'm like, you totally have watched me on those for
yeah,
sure.
that's true. Yes.
That's the one where I'm like,
Yeah, I win on that one. So,
Yeah.
You know, and you'll be on Box Office Breakdown in between this and that, and that's on Popcorn Talk Network.
Yes.
So you're basically doing like the Jerry Lewis telethon, and I hope you can raise a lot of money. All right, Michael.
Yeah.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. What's Agent Coulson up to? And is Daisy still cool? What about...
Daisy is the destroyer of worlds.
No.
Daisy has
I did hear about
she's the
that.
one who
Okay.
destroyed Earth, and there's just like a big top chunk of it, like
Daisy.
Antarctica is like left,
So-
basically.
When the
Does
show
that
started...
mean like everybody like
Okay,
dies?
so they're in a multiverse.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not this Earth.
It's An Earth.
They've
Wait,
well,
real quick before we go on. Someone was like speculating that the destruction that you see of L.A. and the Runaways was because of Daisy, and I thought it was pretty funny.
Oh, yeah. That's an interesting theory.
That's
yeah, yeah.
not an impossible thought.
At the end of
yeah.
Runaways, there's that moment where we see a future of
Oh,
an
the
LA,
TV thing.
and then the little TV
yes.
thing.
I
Yes.
don't think so.
I don't think it's tied in. I don't think it's Daisy, but I love that theory. I think that's fun.
I
That
think
would be
if it
great
was
if there was a
tied
crossover.
in, it would be with the ABC shows because of
Because
Hulu.
it's ABC. It's an ABC
yeah.
studio. Well, they're all, I
But
guess.
I
technically.
I asked old Jeffrey last week,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, they're just all related.
Yeah.
But no,
So
he
it could
wouldn't
be.
tell
All right.
us.
Well, anyway, and you have 3 more minutes to talk about S.H.I.E.L.D., and then we have to talk about the X-Men. So
Okay. Well, who else do you want to know what's going on?
Well,
with?
okay, wait. So it's not this regular Earth.
They're not sure if they're in a multiverse
Okay.
or not.
Okay.
But they've thrown around the idea maybe this isn't what our timeline is like.
Okay, cool. Are you liking it? Is it good?
I had to watch this last episode 3 times.
is it because
Like,
you didn't get it, or
I kept like
Zoning
getting
out?
bored.
Okay.
Yeah,
you kept getting gifted by it?
a little bit. But no, not
Sorry that I
really.
spit.
No, not really.
I really didn't mean that. I just didn't expect him to say that.
But it's interesting. We've got Simmons has been captured, and she's been like a slave, but she's like a classy slave.
Oh, good.
Okay.
She's like
I think
one
I
of the
saw. Was
higher.
there gold on it?
So not
Yeah,
like
they paint her
not like Princess
face.
Leia chained to Jabba the Hutt, like better
they,
than that.
They put
Okay.
something in her ear that prevents her from hearing unless they want her to hear what they're
Ooh,
saying.
creepy.
Which is really weird.
I
And
like
there's
Simmons.
New Inhumans. Somebody, Zaya says there's 2 new Inhumans.
Yeah. She's in charge because she's a doctor of like helping one of the
Okay.
Inhumans like get control of like get a handle on her powers because in this alien future and with this alien race that whose ship she's stuck on, they force the Inhumans to like battle when they become of like age or whatever. And if
Okay.
you win the battle, you get to go off into space and explore countries and be an ambassador for their race. And we come to find out that that didn't happen, that because she won this battle, she's basically sold as a slave to like someone because they're impressed by her. So they're like, we'll buy her. And it's
So-
like a 12-year-old girl too. She's pretty fierce. She sticks her hand all the way in some guy and like pulls it out.
Whoa. So I like so many characters on the show. I like Fitz. I like Simmons.
He's not even around. He's like on another. He's either in the past or he's in another multiverse. They didn't know who Quake was and that she was in this timeline or what, or
Right.
that she was even alive. But they found her and now she's like this prized, like kind of like zoo animal. Like, oh, the destroyer of worlds, we've captured her. She's like now. You're assuming they're gonna keep her on display or like have her like fight for fun. You don't really know because they've just captured her.
And what about Agent May?
Agent May wants to go home and go to bed.
Has she kicked anyone?
She's
I just
pissed
gonna
off
guess.
'cause
She's
she was-
kicked people.
She hasn't done a lot of fighting. She's
Huh.
like pissed off because she's actually the first one that gets stuck with. She put these things in her arm, and she's the first one to get stuck with that.
That
It
doesn't
kinda,
seem like something that she
it kind of
would
like
enjoy,
monitors
yeah.
what you're doing and like there's magnetic fields in certain areas of the building, so if you're not supposed to be somewhere you'll get stuck against a door and you won't be able to like move until someone lets you go. But she literally is like, I just want to go home and go to bed. That's what she says to Coulson.
So, if somebody hadn't watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they thought this is the season where they're going to start, is it too confusing to jump in? Because this is season 5 now, right?
It's like
Or
it's
is it-
almost I don't know.
like a whole
I
is it
kind of show,
intentionally
right?
confusing?
I think if you were ever gonna jump in, now would be a good time because it's like a totally different story.
Yeah.
And like there are fewer characters because not everyone is there. So
Well, you text me if you're watching and you see Lockjaw on this show, because I will catch up. I won't sleep for days. I will make sure that I watch everything. Like I said, I want to try and catch up before we come back. What's wrong with me liking Lockjaw so much?
Maybe, I mean, if he would come on any show, it would be
Yeah,
Agents of
I
S.H.I.E.L.D.
don't need any of the Inhumans to be there. Just Lockjaw, and he can teleport.
Well, you know Crystal would be there.
Well, because she misses her boyfriend. Anyway, like I said, I hope to be all caught up by the time we come back January 8th. Anyway, this is our last show for 2017, and because it's a festive Christmassy show, I wanted to have us all take a look back, a little revisit of an episode of the X-Men animated series called Have Yourself a Morlock Little Xmas, which I got wrong in the intro. And what the interesting thing is that this was like the third from the last episode of the series, because I was like looking at the list. They
No,
were
it's
really,
not.
No, it is. They were
It's
really
in
spaced
season
out.
4.
Yeah, but they're really spaced. There's only
another-
like 2 more after this.
There's a season after.
There's a whole season after this.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I thought that the description I read of the next one, but it's very late in the series. But I remember
Yeah.
watching this one, and I love. It starts off,
I
of
vaguely
course.
remember that watching this
Wol-
in the 90s too.
Yeah, Wolverine he's just all grinchy and Scrooging up the joint.
Old Grumpus.
Yeah, it's like there
Yeah.
he is.
That's what she called him.
And of course, Jubilee is like, please, Wolvie, for me. I'm like, yeah,
Please.
I love Jubilee. I know she's people's like least favorite. She's
No, I'm
she's on your shirt.
Jubilee
She's
tonight.
right there. I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I've always been a big fan. But the thing that always stayed with me, like, because I said like, oh, we should watch this before our last episode for the Christmas break, and the only thing I remember about the episode was Gambit and Jean Grey fighting in the kitchen.
Another
And
one I'm representing.
You're
tonight.
representing
I've
Gambit.
got all the
over
good
there.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, where's Jean Grey?
Oh,
You said all the good ones.
She's dead.
She's,
You
she's
gotta
always
wait.
dead and then comes back. In fact,
dead
look at
right
that. Anthony has a great image from that. There's flying broccoli. And way to use the Phoenix Force to
I
try
know.
and...
She sure was showing that darker
Right?
side. Like,
Yeah.
she was not acting like normal Jean Grey.
No. She absolutely was not.
Why they have enough people that why don't you just make 2 different kinds of foods or something? Like, you don't have to have one or the other. He can make his items, she can make hers, but yeah, she was
I mean,
very
clearly you've
grumpy
never
about
tried
it.
you've never tried to share a kitchen with a Cajun.
or different items, like you make the turkey, that someone else
Gambit
makes the
don't
ham.
do potluck. Or something like that. I forgot how bad his accent was until
Oh, he
I
does
watched
it like
no,
he don't
his
use a
isn't so
microwave
bad.
or something. He
Oh,
like,
yeah,
was
no,
really
no,
offended by that.
We can just reheat it
No
tomorrow.
Tiva dinner.
Yeah, that's right. I don't make a TV dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought, here's the thing. Look, this show was obviously it was made for kids, but I think older kids, like I was the last couple years. Let's see, I think it premiered in the fall of '92, so I was in 10th grade when this premiered, and I watched it pretty consistently. And I would tape it because I had to save it and make sure I would rewatch it. So I remember watching it, and I didn't feel like, oh, I can stop watching this show. I still thought it was a really good representation of the comic books that I always liked. Some of the greatest stories that were done poorly in movies, aka Dark Phoenix Saga, were really well done on the animated series. And they have the Phalanx Covenant. They have so many, they have Cable, they have Bishop, they have all these great characters that we still haven't seen in the movies. So I thought that, look, there's moments where this show you kind of remember, oh yeah, this is for kids. Oh yeah, this is from the early 90s. But I still think they were able to do kind of maybe I'm sleep deprived, and because I have kids now, I'm a little, it's like a little emotional. I'm like, not Leech. I love Leech. I don't want Leech to die.
It's also a good episode of, like, as cheesy, as cliche as it sounds, is the spirit of Christmas, because Jubilee's like, this is my first Christmas. I haven't really done anything, but
Yeah.
then kind of learns what's important about Christmas. It's
Yeah.
not
I
buying
don't
the
know why
presents.
they were like, she didn't know anything about Christmas. She had like a foster family.
Well, yeah, and also, by the way, she lived in a mall when they
Right.
met her. So clearly, every December, she knew what was going on, but she never got to experience it. I think she
That's
had
a real
She had a
family.
lot of foster families. I don't know how consistently
Okay.
how old. Yeah, but
The
she
last one seemed like they cared about her.
Yeah, but I think
know?
that I think they didn't want no damn muties in the
No,
house.
that
was kind of the problem. Yeah.
She had a pretty cool suit this episode.
Yeah, well, that's actually like kind of an alternate costume that she had later, but you only really see the pants.
Yeah.
That was
It's
a
cute
weird.
with the jacket,
Yeah,
too.
well, I know. I always thought that the yellow jacket was good. Oh, and we had a good image there that Anthony had, which
Yeah,
was
I need one of
Wolverine.
those brown X-Men jackets.
There it is.
with the
Yeah.
big X
Yeah.
on the
Yeah,
side.
those-
I need one of those.
So-
Those were
Side
kind of
patch,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, and like the pink pants and like the white. It was sort of like a white and pink top. I don't know, Anthony. It might be too much for Google to handle, but see if you can find Jubilee costume white and pink. I don't know. I remember her having a different look at one point, and all we saw on the show though was just the pants. But anyway,
You love Gambit in that episode.
in this episode, yes, Gambit
He's
is actually
fun.
not one of my favorite characters.
Really?
Because all he does is card tricks. And
Oh.
also,
No.
real Gambit in the comic books betrayed the Morlocks to Mr. Sinister. He sold them out for profit, not because he like owed Mr. Sinister some
He
life
was
debt.
one of the horsemen.
Right, but he said like, hey, so here's a secret entrance to the Morlock tunnels, so it will make it easier for you to kill them. That's what Gambit did. So, there it was. We saw it for a second there. Yeah, that's just the jacket.
the
Yeah, I'm
jacket.
sorry, Anthony. If you just Google it.
You're so picky.
Yeah, well, I want to see. You can see it, the bottom there, really
Yeah.
well if you
And then
show
she
that
still
to the
has
audience.
her yellow gloves.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
she's got the yellow gloves. But the raincoat, I guess it wasn't raincoat season, is what the problem was.
Well, I always love Gambit, and he doesn't just do card tricks. It's just his
Agreed.
medium of choice.
Yes.
Is the cards.
Yeah, I know,
They're
he needed
probably
the
they're
bow,
cheap.
yeah.
You know. I don't know. I always thought when I was younger, I was like, I would love to grow up and play Gambit in a movie. Because I was like long and tall, lanky or whatever, but they get old Channing Tatum to do it. I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah, and that's a
Uh-oh.
better glimpse of it. Yeah,
There she is.
And also you're also not Taylor Kitsch, who also played Gambit in
He
X-Men
didn't
Origins
look like-
Wolverine. He didn't look anything
Oh,
like
we'll
him.
pretend
So
that didn't happen.
I'm saying you would have been a better choice.
I think I'd be a good Gambit.
I think you would be a good
All
Gambit.
long and
Do you have a? Do you have
do
you
a
worked on?
Cajun
Yeah, thank
accent?
you. Have you worked on a Cajun accent?
oh, mon ami.
All right. See, so if Channing Tatum falls out, we know who they should go to at Michael X.
be a
Shirley.
stand-in.
So I know we're almost out of time. So share your thoughts, Carrie, and then Michael. Just overall, watching this episode, did it put you in the holiday season, holiday spirit? Were you right there with the X-Men, or were you all Wolverine about it?
No, I thought it was really sweet and adorable. It did remind me how kind of cheesy it is to go back and like. I thought
Yeah.
the animation was really good. I'm like, ooh, it's a little like rough, but I still enjoyed it a lot. And actually, the weird thing is rewatching this after just watching some Star Trek. I did not like Xavier's voice at all. I'm like, where's my
I
Patrick
didn't like his
Stewart?
eyebrows.
Yeah.
I want Patrick Stewart's voice. I don't like
Yeah,
it.
my first thought was like, wait, is this a different voice? And I'm like, no, I'm just not used
I
to it
didn't like
anymore.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still thought it's a really good like sweet Christmas theme.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's
without
some
being
very
too cheesy.
There's a couple of schmaltzy moments, like, do you believe in miracles? What's miracles? I'm like, oh, okay, we
we
get
might
it.
see one in a
Prettiest
minute.
Christmas tree ever.
Yeah, no, Leach can't deny, not tonight, because it's Christmas Eve. Oh, so if he died on Thanksgiving, that wouldn't have been sad?
know.
What did you think, Michael?
A lot of people
Revisiting,
died on Thanksgiving a long time ago.
you mean the Native Americans? Well, I think they died before then. But anyway, what were your thoughts watching this episode?
I thought Storm was serving up the looks.
Yeah.
In her like peach cheetah like dress thing, and then
With a
the
white
second
coat, too.
Yeah, and then the second one was like this like baby blue coat with like the white fur. It
Yeah.
was like she's always had it.
But
I forget how like
they have
cool she
Storm
is.
kind of personality change in the animated series, but the look doesn't change like it did in the comic books, and it's kind of inconsistent that she still looks like this, and she is also like leader of the Morlocks, which rightly so. Glad she gave it up because clearly she didn't give a shit about them. What do you think of Storm's look? It was the look that we saw in X-Men Apocalypse. The leather jacket and the mohawk, because that's
I
the
love
sto-
it.
that's
I
the
love
Storm.
it.
When I started reading comics, that's what she looked like. So it was only after the fact that I'm like, oh, she used to look like that. I didn't even
liked
realize.
all of Storm's costumes.
I
don't
thought
think
that-
she's ever had a costume I didn't like.
Yeah, I thought that was such a cool look, and
That's like a good young punk phase
yeah,
look.
and she
then
needed to
changes later.
go through that period. I think. I mean, at one point that happens shortly thereafter. She loses her powers, so she really has to find who she is. Don't worry, she gets them back. Spoiler alert. But she goes from literally being considered a goddess in Africa to living, in this mansion, and I think that's such a jarring thing. I think she really
Yeah,
never
it's
knew
so
what she was.
horrible being a goddess and then moving into a man.
Yeah, but I mean, that's such a weird. It's such a weird change of environment. It's
Yeah,
true.
yeah, for
I guess
sure.
she needs to live on like a 6th floor walk up in Alphabet City in New York City. I guess is probably what she needs. I took a note. One of my favorite moments, and we'll wrap up in a minute. I know, Tony, we're almost out of time or we're past time. There's a moment that Jubilee calls Professor X.
Yeah.
You don't need to call him. He's inside all of your heads all the time, and you just have to say
She's a
Professor.
noob.
But of course, he's talking to her. It's a cordless phone with an antenna. I was like, God love it. God love the '90s that they had the antenna that didn't do anything. But I love that they had it.
We didn't want you to be alone on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, it sounds like
He's
you
like-
found the spirit of Christmas.
No, and he's like,
where
I
you
got the rest of the X-Men anyway. Like Gambit and Jean
not
are here,
alone.
and Longshot could probably come by, and Boom Boom and Cannonball, and I could just keep naming other X-Men. Oh, why don't you invite Thunderbird over? Oh, right, he's dead. Where's Polaris and Havoc? All these people could come over for Christmas dinner. Don't worry about Charlie. Anyway, I thought it was fun to watch this, and I think we'll periodically do this as kind of an exercise for this show. We'll pick, like when the Dark Phoenix movie comes out, it's like, well, we should watch the Dark Phoenix episodes of this show. But it's only 5 of them.
No. Just when you said the
Is that
new
the
Dark
movie? Yeah, well, I guarantee that the episodes of the animated series are going to be better. They actually gave a story by credit to Chris Claremont, who wrote the comic books, because it was actually too similar, and you never get that in the movies. Anyway, let us know what you think. Leave a comment in the YouTube video. Yeah, and
Comment down below.
and also give us
Thumbs
the
up.
thumbs up. And we want to thank
Subscribe.
everybody who has
iTunes.
watched the show. Yeah, I know. I talked over the plug. Sorry.
Oh, and they can catch the Christmas episode on Hulu.
Yes,
Season
if you
4.
thank you. Episode
Oh,
12.
did you guys see it said expiring? That I was like, is that
Whoa, what?
Well,
on
we
top
know
right corner
that.
of the X-Men thing?
Well, we know that.
Are they going to
Disney's
move over to the
wanting
Disney
move
platform?
things over.
But the Disney platform's not starting that soon. So I
don't
don't
know.
want the X-Men animated series to be nowhere.
The
I want it
X-Men
to be
Evolution thing was saying that it was expiring soon
All right.
too.
Well, we'll have to get to the bottom of this by January. I did not realize that, but I'm glad you let me know. Anyway, so thanks to everybody who's been watching the show and enjoying the show. And even if they don't like what Michael and I say on the show, everybody loves Carrie, though, obviously. But, nobody likes us. But half the people like us. But we appreciate all the comments. We like how passionate everybody is about these Marvel shows. And we've got so much more to talk about next year. There's so many great shows are going to come back. And I'll catch up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Michael. Don't worry.
I'm excited for Jessica Jones
Yeah.
now that I've heard that about Typhoid Mary. But
And I'm excited for Legion Season 2. So we're going to have all this great stuff in the new year. I believe we'll be back on Monday, January 8th. And follow at AfterBuzz TV. And at Marvel ABTV is the account for all the Marvel shows, all the after shows on AfterBuzz, so you can find everything there. But thanks to everyone for watching the show and everybody who enjoyed it. So Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, everybody. For Marvel TV Weekly, I'm Christian Blatt at Christian DMZ.
I'm Carrie Lane. You can find me online at Carrie D Lane, Karidlane.
and you can find me at Michael X Shirley on Instagram and Twitter.
And in mere minutes, you'll find Carrie on Box Office Breakdown over on Popcorn Talk, and an hour after that on Star Trek Weekly with me. See you all next year. Happy New Year and Excelsior!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
you later.